As always, thank you for tuning in once again to the Well Off Podcast, where I interviewed Mario Sassi from Sassi Plumbing. I thought it was a really interesting uh, interview here because we talked about a lot of plumbing issues that can come up as an investor or even as a homeowner, ways that you can protect your family and tenants. We talked about galvanized piping. We talked about Kitec. We talked about cost effective ways to replace some old pipes that you have in your home. We also discussed clay pipes for your drains and black back water valves. Lots of stuff here, lots of things that you should be aware of as a homeowner or as an investor, leaky faucets and toilets, things like that. Great content in here, and I truly think that you'll benefit. So, hopefully, you'll have an opportunity to listen to it to the end. And I just want to remind you guys that I really appreciate your comments and reviews. And if you do appreciate the information on here, it'd be great if you can share it with your family and friends. Another thing that I wanted to offer you is a roadmap to real estate investing that I've put together for you. It really helps you identify what strategy best suits your needs. You may have started with one specific strategy and your needs may have changed. So it's great to just kind of review this document, look into it, and see if there's any adjustments you need to make and what strategy would be best. So enjoy the episode, and I'll see you again soon. Welcome to the Well Off Podcast, where the goal is to motivate, inspire, and share success principles. Today, I'm speaking with Mario Sassi, who is a plumber, and I just felt like there would be a good a need to discuss certain things because I think a lot of people don't really understand plumbing too well, don't know the costs associated with certain repairs, especially investors that are buying something that's older. There's all sorts of issues that you can come across, and I'm dealing with certain things myself. So, Mario, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, of course, of course.
Awesome.
So, the way I like to start off here, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, your childhood, where you grew up, and maybe one or two things you remember from then.
Um, Basically born in Toronto, raised in Toronto,
Mhm.
moved up to Woodbridge, thinking it's a nice little town. Now it's
Yeah,
a city.
yeah.
Um, 47 years old. Um, I got into plumbing after I was in the restaurant business for many years.
Hmm.
My whole family was in the restaurant business. Then got into plumbing, looking hopefully would be a good career for me.
Yeah.
Um, Still in it, been doing it for over 25 years. I enjoy what I do.
Hmm.
I love sports. Grew up watching hockey, huge Leaf fan,
Okay.
um, baseball, any sport out there, I love it. Soccer. So just a kid wanting to enjoy life, basically.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm very outgoing, ambitious. Number one. Um, so I'm always wanting to learn new things, tackle new things, and that's about it. So that's where it all started from when I was a kid.
Very cool. Where
And
did
so,
you grow up in Toronto?
uh, Jane and Eglinton area, so
Okay.
Scarlet Road.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
it's pretty. It's not this. Well, you know what? It's not that bad
Hmm.
from where it was before till now. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
it's still a nice area. It's not that bad.
I've got some friends out there. Yeah, it's pretty good. I guess
Yeah,
like anywhere, you just gotta know which places to stay away from, if anything, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so that's
So
interesting. I didn't know you were in the restaurant business before.
yeah,
So it's great that.
Swiss Chalet,
Oh, okay, cool.
Swiss Chalet. Yeah,
Yeah, awesome. All right, so 25 years in the plumbing industry, and
yeah,
why don't we just get right into it here because there's a lot of stuff that can happen if you're buying a 50, 60, 70-year old property.
yeah,
Sometimes homeowners don't do anything to their plumbing, and you might have something like galvanized plumbing. There could be cast iron pipes, lead pipes.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so maybe we can discuss some of
Tricky.
these things to start.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, galvanized pipes is very dangerous too. It's a drinking water, water filtration. Number one is the calcium buildup in your pipes. It's really bad. What it could do to your skin, your hair, everything.
Mm,
and then what it does to the fixtures in the home. So I mean, you're looking at rust on your tubs, on your sinks, and the porcelain. It could do pretty good damage. And then that's just on the outside. So imagine what's on the inside of the pipe.
right. So
So
so I believe it starts to corrode from the inside. Is that right?
100%, and it thickens up in the walls of the pipe.
Hmm.
So basically, you're not getting any pressure, and whatever's coming out of that pipe is rust, calcium, all kinds of nasty things that are coming out
Yeah.
of the pipe. And you're drinking, you're eating with that.
Hmm.
So
So
it could get
safety is
dangerous.
one thing. It's
That's right.
obviously you have tenants in there. You want to look out for their safety. So
That's right.
that's number one, and then number two could be that you might have a pretty hefty bill if your pipes start leaking. And what
That's
are the
right.
chances, like in your opinion, what are the chances that you'll get a major leak from galvanized plumbing that's 50 plus years old?
Oh, 99%.
Mm.
You'll get a call, and it's not just the piping alone. It's could be the toilets that are just running that you don't even know about,
Hmm.
and the faucets are just dripping. Water bills go straight up.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so many different things that could lead to costly issues later on in the future.
Right, which is actually something that I wanted to discuss with you, but I think we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Sure.
So galvanized plumbing, that's the first one.
Yeah.
We've identified that that's not something good to have. So how does somebody
No.
identify whether or not they have galvanized pipes in their home?
Well, I'm assuming if it's over 40 years old, 30 years old, you probably do have galvanized piping. But
Hmm.
now in the condos, I don't know if I'm sure you're aware of this too. In the condo industry, a few years back, they were using a certain kind of Kitec piping in
Yeah.
their condos.
Yes.
That's illegal now,
Right.
and Kitec is getting sued by a lot of homeowners,
Hmm.
contractors, and they're calling us plumbers to go in there, take out all the Kitec, redo them,
Yeah.
and it's a struggle to get into the condos too.
So
So
when
it's
you're
tough.
so for those that don't know, Kitec is kind of like a PEX plumbing, PEX
It's
style. It's like
similar, yeah.
plastic. Yeah, it's
Correct, yeah.
plastic, and they've had issues where they also, I believe, corrode from the inside, and it could lead
Yes,
to bursts. So you might have like a water burst behind your walls all of
correct.
a
Now the
sudden.
reason,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, the reason why is because inside the Kitec pipe, there's like a steel lining inside there,
Hmm.
and that steel lining is not good.
Right.
So that's what corrodes, and that's what breaks, and that's what bursts.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and that's something
yeah,
that's common in condos. I think it was what, like in the early 2000s or something like that. They were
yeah,
using Kitec.
that's right,
Yeah,
that's right.
so yeah, if you have if you purchased a condo that was built in the early 2000s, you can maybe have a look just to save yourself from that trouble of having a burst pipe at some point.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not too common in homes, I'm assuming. I haven't really heard of too many cases where
Not too
homes.
many, but there
Yeah.
were a bunch of subdivisions that do have them.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah, they just take a
Yeah.
look at them. I mean, the color is usually orange. The
Hmm.
pipes or orange or a certain type of blue.
Yeah, and they have a mark on them
Um,
sometimes
yeah,
where it'll say whether
it
it's
should say
Kitec or.
Kitec. That's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
just
think
go
there's some other
downstairs,
names
take
too.
a look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All you have to do is go downstairs, take a look, and
Mhm.
you'll see Kitec written
Got it.
on top of the pipe. So
Okay, so what are you replacing? What are you normally using? Because copper is a little bit more expensive. Are you using PEX right now for the most part in most of your jobs?
yeah, I do mostly PEX. PEX,
Mhm.
a bit of Wurzbo, but mostly PEX.
Right. So not too many people are using copper anymore.
You know what? It's the cost.
Mhm.
It's a lot. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
Copper. I like copper personally because I mean I was taught to use copper when I was an apprentice.
Yeah.
I prefer copper, but a lot of people prefer PEX because it's easier to work with,
Mhm.
cost efficient, and it's quick. You do the job, you get in, do it, and you're done.
Yeah.
Homeowners love it because you're in and out within a day to redo a
Mhm.
whole house. So
Okay, so
it's
let's say you have galvanized or Kitec or something. Do you have to
yeah.
open up a lot of walls? Do you have to tear the wall down completely and have access to everything behind the walls, or are you able to just punch some holes or something like that?
In some cases, you are able to open up some walls, some holes to repair a whole line.
Hmm.
In some cases, you have to open up the whole wall
Right.
to
Yeah.
replace that line. Yeah.
Right. And
So
and
it
you
could
might get
get,
lucky where you might have like a bathroom on one side and like a kitchen on the other, so you can access both through that one wall.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Which is nice, which is
Mhm.
good.
And what kind of cost can you expect if you okay, well, before we get into that, because there's also
Yeah.
potentially lead pipes. So I know in my property was built in the early 1900s. The main water line was lead, and I had to get
Yeah.
that replaced. It's not
Yeah.
safe to drink out
No,
of a lead pipe, obviously.
no.
Um, so are there also cases where maybe the entire house has lead pipes throughout? Have,
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I mean, the older home, more older you get, the more lead you might have in the home,
okay,
which it could be more dangerous. So, yeah.
right. So
That's
it's
why a lot
safe
of
to
people are
wash.
just,
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, that's why a lot of people are just tearing the whole house down,
Yeah.
rebuilding it all,
Right,
as opposed to
right.
just
Some
renovating.
cases, yeah. Because
Yeah,
I know, like, it's safe to wash your dishes or something like that with if there's lead piping, but you just don't want to
yeah,
drink the water. Yeah.
that's right. I mean, you're using that lead pipe to boil the water for your pasta, your
Mhm.
veggies, and stuff like that. So, I mean, it could get dangerous later.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and what about cast iron?
Cast iron, I mean, usually that's in the drains.
Right.
People are still using them for
Okay.
custom homes, believe it or not. So,
Okay.
I mean, I know some homeowners, they love the cast iron because of the noise reduction. So,
Okay.
when you're going to the washroom, you're flushing the toilet, you will not hear that toilet flush coming downstairs.
Right.
Because nowadays, the plastic pipe, you flush a toilet on the second level, you hear that water trickling right down to the basement.
Yeah, that's right.
And a lot of homeowners don't like that. So
Yeah. Okay,
a
so
lot of people are still,
it's more of like it's something that people do out of preference, but it doesn't harm you in
yeah.
any way. I'm
No,
assuming there's
no, it's
okay.
in the drains. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that bad. No.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yeah.
fair. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the cost, if we can, to
Yeah.
replace some of these things: lead pipes,
Mhm.
galvanized, or Kitec.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
some people they charge by the hour,
Hmm.
and then some people charge by the fixture, and then some people charge by the whole job itself.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to pick out a certain price on certain things. So it could range from $500
Hmm.
up to $5,000,
Yeah.
depending on the application of the home. So it could be costly, and it could be. Um, I think sometimes it's easier to just renovate, uh, rip out all the drywall,
Hmm.
change all the pipes out, and redoing it again.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to just do that than to make a whole bunch of holes
Hmm.
and then doing it floor by floor or room by room. So
Right. So
yeah.
just to kind of work with an example here, if you can just give us a bit of a range. Obviously, you need details to give an exact price, but let's say someone has a two-bedroom condo,
Mhm.
about 750 square feet. They've got
Yeah.
one washroom, and they have
Mhm.
Kitec plumbing throughout. What kind of cost range can they expect to pay to replace all the plumbing?
Usually, because I know sometimes some condos, the condo corp will pay for it or half of it.
Okay.
So look into that first.
Yeah.
But sometimes you really do have to open up whatever you have to open up
Hmm.
and start from there by the hour. Could
Hmm.
take a few days, could take one day, but minimum cost I would say ranges from 1,500 to $3,000, $4,000, something like that.
Okay.
I
And
would say
and that's just for the plumbing. That's not.
that's just plumbing.
Yeah, that's
That's
you
just
got to get
plumbing.
someone in to put up the drywall again and do all that other stuff. Yeah.
It could be costly, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the condo corp, um, I think, comes into effect where they might pay some of it or your
Hmm.
insurance, depending on insurance, because some insurance companies they don't like to get their hands wet with stuff like that. So
Right.
you might not even get insured.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
scary part.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
almost like electricians, like the electrical tube, knob and tube.
Mhm.
Some homes, some insurance companies won't insure you because you have knob
Yeah.
and tube
That's
because it's
right.
a lot of,
Or
it's
or
a,
aluminum wiring. Yeah.
yeah, it's a liability. So, I
Mhm.
mean, same with plumbing now. So it's
Right.
tough.
So what can people do as a precaution when they're purchasing a home to ensure that they're not going to get caught off guard with a huge surprise, a huge plumbing surprise?
I would recommend getting, pay $100. Some companies charge $100. Some companies don't even charge. Like my fee, if I come in to inspect the home, I
Mhm.
only charge $99. I
Okay.
come in, I inspect it, and I'll take a look to see what you have in the home, to see if everything's running properly before you go and spend the money. That's the best thing to do. Hire a
Mhm.
professional, let them take a look at it before, and go from there. Because some home inspectors, they're not licensed plumbers, not licensed electricians.
Yeah.
They're just inspectors. They take a course, they do it, and that's it. Voila,
Yeah.
you're a licensed inspector, right? I would hire a professional plumber or electrician or carpenter. Go in there, spend $100 or whatever it is. Take a look at before you put all your investment into that one property, and then heads up first thing what you're looking at.
Mhm.
And that's it. That's
Yeah,
what I
so
recommend.
you'll be able to pretty much look at the surface, see what's exposed. You won't be able to open up any walls.
Correct.
Yeah, but obviously, like you'll be able to identify if there's something major, like galvanized plumbing or Kitec or
100%.
something. Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
Yeah. That's why I've been trying to. Yeah. Sorry. I've been trying to reach out to agents and brokers,
mhm,
and before they go show a house, or before your client wants to buy the house, get an inspection before it's done.
mhm.
So then you don't have to run into problems later on, and then the homeowner's upset, they're unhappy. So I would recommend do it first before anything,
Yeah,
just so you
exactly.
know your costs up ahead before you get it later on. You're surprised with a big cost, and you have to hire a plumber,
Mhm.
and it goes from there. So
Right. Yeah. If you know ahead of time, you can plan for it. You can set aside money. In that case, you might be able to work something out with the seller. So it helps to know.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about something you mentioned earlier, which is leaky faucets and toilets, and yeah,
Hmm.
just what kind of expense that'll run you to have something that's constantly dripping throughout the day. As either a homeowner or as an investor, if you're paying for the water for the building or for the property, can you talk about that a little bit?
100%. Yeah. There. I actually did a call last week. A gentleman was paying, oh, got a bill, sorry, for $4,000. All his toilets were running for 2 weeks
Wow.
straight. He didn't even know about it until he
Yeah.
got the actual bill. I had to replace all the toilets, and it's just a simple method you can try. You get it's almost like a food coloring base. Drop
Okay.
it in the tank, let it sit there. If it runs into the bowl, you have a leak. Plain and simple. Those are just for toilets.
Can you
Drop
can
it in
you
the tank.
kind of emphasize? So you get like these drops that you put into the
You
toilet.
can, yeah, you can even get food coloring.
Yeah.
You put a couple of drops in the tank itself.
Yep. In the
You
tank.
lift up the bowl and you see if any water goes, if you see any discoloration into the bowl. And
Oh.
right away you'll tell. If it does, you have a
Yeah.
leak.
Right.
That's a little tip.
So do you have an
Classic
idea
plumbing
of what
tip.
that costs? That's a good tip. I like that. Um, do you know what it
That, I
costs
mean,
then per toilet? Like if you have a leaky toilet, I know it depends on how much it's leaking, but
yeah,
yeah,
sometimes it could get, sometimes if it's just the flapper itself, it could go about $200
a month?
to $200. Oh no, are you talking about the repair itself,
No,
or?
I'm talking about like what it costs you to have water running like that all the time in a leaky toilet.
Oh, oh yeah. Like I said, that gentleman had three toilets running for 2 weeks straight,
Yeah.
$4,000 bill.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
Yeah, it could go up there. I mean, and the city will actually call you
Mm.
because it's just abnormal, and
Yeah,
they see, okay, something's going on here. They're not, they're not using all this water all the time. So
yeah,
I think
and
they'll get a call from the city first.
yeah.
So
So then like a toilet, you can buy a toilet for like $100, but installing it's a little bit more. What would it cost then to just replace a toilet, let's say, to send someone in?
yeah, I would recommend to just change the toilet. You
Hmm.
pick a toilet up, a half decent, $150.
Yeah.
I charge 125
Oh, awesome.
to install it. Yeah, so I give a 1 year warranty.
Hmm.
That's my personal warranty. So if anything happens with the toilet, I go back for free. I don't charge,
Yeah.
and that's for a whole year. So
Cool.
on all
Cool.
my services, I give a free warranty for 1 year.
Yeah. So let's
And
say you
it's
invest $300 to replace a toilet, but that money is most likely you're going to make up for it in a couple
100
months,
bucks. Yeah,
if not before.
100%.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And I know a lot of companies that are, you don't want to know how much companies are charging just to change a toilet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. For
it's
sure.
it's ridiculous. It's
What about
crazy.
faucets now? Like bathroom faucets or kitchen
Yep.
faucets. How do you know if they're leaking and what can you
With
do?
Yeah, with those, I mean, it's more like you see a faucet dripping,
Hmm.
you hear a noise at night, and it's just dripping, dripping
Yeah.
onto your sink. Right there is a sign. I would keep an eye on it. Basically, look at your faucet. I mean, you'll probably hear it all the time,
Hmm.
and you know, okay, you know what, something is wrong. Let's look into it.
Yeah.
So that's the most common issue with faucets
Hmm.
is just the drip itself.
So just replace it. If you have a drip, just go out, buy something, replace it.
Yeah, because to be honest, if you're gonna try to fix it, get a cartridge, it could cost up to $200 again.
Hmm.
So now just to replace the faucet, pick up a faucet for $150.
Yeah.
Again, my price is a 125, so $250. You got a brand new faucet, and you
Yeah.
got a free warranty for a whole year.
Hmm. That's great.
I
Yeah.
always recommend the clients just get a new one and
Yeah.
don't even bother.
Yeah, for sure.
So
And I'm thinking about it from well, obviously homeowners need to be aware of this because they're paying for their utilities.
right,
But investors also need to be aware of this, especially if you have a multi-unit building, you have 10, 20, 30 units, and each one of them
that's
has a
right,
small leak. That's going
that's
to
right,
be a huge expense to you if you're paying the water. So, um,
that's right,
yeah,
that's
it's good
right.
to know these things.
It depends if the actual contractor has that in their contract with the renters paying their utilities or their water
Yeah,
bill,
yeah,
or
exactly.
vice versa, right? So
Yes. Okay. Do you have any other tips for homeowners or investors?
yeah, number one, I to be honest, first thing you should do, get a plumber out there, take a look at what needs to be done before you actually invest in the property or
Mhm.
before you buy your property. Number one tip, always check before anything. Just because you don't know what you're going to run into later on. The plumber, he's a professional. He'll tell you exactly what would be the issue
Mhm.
now and in the future.
Yeah.
So, and then you can, manage your costs later on to see, okay, you know what? It's going to cost me this much money. So let me put that in the cost of the price and then go from there.
Mhm.
So I always recommend my GCs. Let me know first before you do anything. I can give you an exact price.
Mhm.
And then whatever you want to mark up, you mark up and you go from there.
Mhm.
But that's the best thing. Always do your homework before you do anything. So
Right. Okay,
number
cool.
one tip.
Good advice.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of shift into clay, I believe drains.
Yes. Yep.
Can you speak to that a little bit? I personally haven't had or don't believe I've ever dealt with clay drains, but I know older homes might have that.
Yeah, they definitely do. For 100%, they definitely do.
Mhm.
Now, if you want to, let's say you want to put a washroom in the basement, you start breaking the ground. And it's very dangerous because as soon as you start touching the clay pipe, it can crack.
Hmm.
And once you start breaking a piece, it can go down to 6 feet of pipe that you have to replace.
Yeah.
It's very sensitive,
Yeah.
and a lot of tree roots burst right through them,
Hmm.
especially in older homes.
Yes.
So it could get costly by replacing the line from outside to the city,
Hmm.
running inside to the house.
How long is it typically, like a clay drain? Is it, let's say, like 20 feet long from the street to the house? Is that what we're talking?
Yeah, depending on the frontage of the home, usually it does go 20 feet, 30 feet
Hmm.
sometimes. And then the city comes in, or you can get their contractor to dig it all up,
Hmm.
connect it right from the city into the home with PVC pipe, which is
Right.
highly recommended.
Hmm.
I mean, it's costly. It can go from 5,000 to $15,000 just
Yeah.
to replace the main line. So it could be pricey. Again, before you buy the home, get a camera inspection,
Hmm.
take a look at it, see if any roots are through the pipe, and then you can add that into the price when you move in or before you move in. You can
Hmm.
have that all done, and then you're set. You're good.
What are some of the risks associated with having a clay drain or clay pipe?
Again, like you can have roots bursting
Hmm.
right through them, and then back up water back up
Hmm.
into your home. You're gonna have floods. Toilets will not flush properly. You're gonna have multiple
Hmm.
floods. Water coming out of your floor drains, which could be costly again in the
Yeah.
future.
So there's
So
nowhere for the water to drain. Like all the water from your toilets and everything is coming down to this pipe that's cracked, and
that's
then
right.
the water has nowhere to go, so it just comes back into the house.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just you only have like so you can picture a root right through a pipe,
Hmm.
and in the water and debris trying to go through that.
Right.
You're not going all of it's not going to flush or go through. So
Sure. And what about backflow valves?
yes, I was just going to talk about that.
Okay.
Now, yeah, the city actually has a program. It's been going on for a few years now. They give you a rebate
Hmm.
depending on the municipality of where you live. Uh, they can go up from $1,000 to $2,000 rebate.
Hmm.
So if you put in a back water valve, it prevents flooding from the city, which is a good thing. You replace it, and you get money back from the city. You pay everything up front, but you get that money back. So
Hmm.
which is a good incentive by the city, which is good.
Yeah.
So
So can you describe just briefly how that works?
yeah, so
Not the
basically
incentive, but the actual
the
backflow valve.
job
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically what happens, you got to go to the front of the property,
Hmm.
and usually your almost every home has a clean out before it exits the property. And the backwater valve does go there. You dig it up, and usually it's 4 to 5 feet down.
Okay.
So it's quite a bit of labor intense, but
Hmm.
it's well worth it. You got to dig 4 to 5 feet. You connect your main backwater valve to that. If you see the actual backwater valve, water goes through, but it can't come back up. So it's almost
Hmm.
like a check valve.
Yeah.
It can flow down, but it can't flow back because it's like a flapper come up and it
Yeah.
stops,
So
and the water can
so
come down.
this is connected to the main drain of the home, right?
Correct. It's the
Right.
main line, the main drain going through in your house out to
Mhm.
the city.
Yes. So this is pertaining to that clay pipe we were just talking about, but typically newer homes would have PVC, like you were saying, and then
Correct. Yes.
the backwater valve would connect to this PVC drain,
You're right.
right?
Yep.
And
So it's all PVC. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm assuming that that it's protecting from like the city sewers overflowing. If there's heavy rains or something, there's a lot of water. It's going to
That's right.
protect from that water overflowing from the sewers and going into your home.
That's correct. That's right.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Okay,
is good
great.
to have.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, Brampton, Mississauga, I don't think has mandatory. You don't have to put those in.
Mhm.
But I know in Toronto, a city inspector would want that in there.
Yeah.
Would want to see that in there.
Mhm.
So
Understood.
just expect. uh, another cost on top of that.
Yeah. And what does it
So
cost typically to install? Did you say what was around 2000 or something like that?
around 2,000, twenty five
Yeah.
hundred bucks.
Okay.
But again, you get that back, right? So
Yeah, incentives from the city. Okay.
that's right.
Perfect. And is there anything else that we should discuss that homeowners or investors should be aware of that are pertaining to plumbing issues?
I mean, now, even now with older homes, the hot water tank, the hot water heater in the basement, uh, they have this thing called a mixing valve. So your kids don't burn their hands. Scalding hot water comes to the faucet or to any fixture. So this prevents that from happening, which
Hmm.
is a mixing valve, which is it's not that expensive, but now when you actually go into a new home, they have them installed.
Okay.
Older homes will not have it.
Hmm.
So that's number one you should take a look at before you buy a home or looking to um, invest in a home. That's another a thing you should look at before you do.
Hmm. Cool.
So
Good to know.
that's
Okay.
it.
All right. I want to jump into the next section, which is the random five. So I'm going to
Okay.
ask you five random questions,
Okay.
and just want you to answer the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
And these are like totally random. So the first question is, what's the most interesting thing you could do with 400 pounds of cheddar cheese?
Eat it.
You'd eat all 400 pounds.
Probably not.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
uh,
It's just they're just like totally random,
that's
but
too funny.
yeah. If you could slow down time, what would you do with that power?
Oh wow. Invest.
Yeah,
Now what I know now, that I didn't know back then.
yeah. Invest some
Invest
more
more or yeah,
in
number one.
homes or something else.
Everything.
Yeah,
Homes, condos, everything, yeah.
yeah. Mostly real estate.
Yeah, the correct, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the most frustrating product you own?
Oh wow. That's a good question. You know what? I haven't thought of that.
Yeah. First thing that comes to mind. You want to say your
Most
laptop because you had a bit of a hard time with Zoom?
I was gonna say, I was gonna say electronics, but
Yeah.
laptop, yes.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. What's the luckiest thing that's ever happened to you?
The luckiest thing, finding my wife, number one.
Nice. That's a
Yeah,
great answer.
thanks.
Very good. And the last question is, what success principle do you live by?
Live each moment day by day. Don't think about what's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen. Live for that moment. Be ambitious. Always think um, anything is possible.
Hmm.
So that's my motto.
Very cool. I like it. Do you have any final messages to share?
No, just give me a follow, Sassy Plumbing. Before you invest, call,
Yeah,
we'll take a look, and go from there.
sounds
Save your
good.
money, don't spend it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. So, how do people reach out to you? You mentioned Sassy Plumbing, so that's your Instagram
Right.
handle.
Yes,
Is that the best way to
that's
reach out to you?
that's the best way I think. Um,
Yeah,
Nowadays, social media is going crazy. So
yeah,
Sassy Plumbing is my handle on Instagram and Facebook, but mostly Instagram. So
mostly Instagram. Okay. So you offer all sorts of plumbing services. You're fully licensed. You can replace pipes. You
yes,
can work with Kitec. You can do pretty much
right,
anything associated with plumbing. So,
correct,
yeah, if anyone needs any sort of plumbing work, you can give Mario a call.
awesome.
Mario, I appreciate you coming on the podcast and sharing all
Thanks,
that
buddy.
knowledge. And
Thank you very much.
yeah, I wish you all the best, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much, George. I really appreciate it. And thanks to my first podcast. Love it.
Thanks once again for listening to another episode of the Well Off Podcast. Just want to remind you that if you do appreciate the content, all I ask is that you comment, maybe like it if you can on the platform that you're listening to it on, and finally share it with friends and family. I'd love to get the message out there, and it would mean a lot if you can share it. And finally, I just wanted to offer you, as a valued listener, a free copy to the Roadmap to Real Estate Investing, which is a document that I've put together which helps you identify what strategy would best suit your needs at this current time. You go over certain things that are included in this document step by step, and it'll hopefully provide you with some clarity. So have a look. You can go to www.welloff.ca/guide to download your free copy.